everybody. How you doing? I'm Rusty Nelson, and welcome to Quick Tips. Now, this is something that may save you money, some information for you. It's things that I learned about. So let me say ahead of time really quick, I am not a tax accountant. I am not a real estate agent. I am not a tax attorney. I am not somebody you should be taking advice from. This is purely to kind of give you a heads up. If you're somebody that if you have a permanent residence or you have a residence in Florida, this is something you may want to take note to and make sure you have this covered because it's not something that happens automatically. And this is property tax exemptions. Now, there is a date that you need to know, and we're going to jump on to the websites pretty quick. But let me say this also. This will change even to what the city that you live in, the county you live in. But for this instance, we're going to look at people that, since Sumter is the largest county as an example, that's what we're going to use. And we're going to take a look at some of these exemptions from that website. Now, that means you can go do this with any city, county that you live in Florida, and I highly suggest you do, and we're going to look at some of the dates that you may need to know. In any case, let's go ahead and jump over to the websites. Here we go, right on Joey Hooten, Sumter County. Here is a nice couple of shots of the villages actually on there. I am going to put right above this, if you want to go watch it now, a link, and it should come up right above, to a video that I did on taxes, the bonds, where to find information and stuff right above that. And it's pretty detailed. You may want to go watch that before or afterwards. Also, it will show up as a link at the end. Please do me a big favor and go ahead and subscribe. This information hopefully will help you out. Anyway, here is the website. It is, let me get me off of here. I don't need to be on here. SumterPA.com, and this is what the website looks like. And when we go on there, go ahead and go to important dates. And here are the dates that I'm talking about. What we're talking about is exemptions that you get when you live and declare your home as your primary residence in Florida. And you need to apply for it. It just doesn't happen automatically. Hopefully, your tax attorney, your accountant, and your real estate agent, some of those people have told you about filing for these exemptions. If not, you may need to get a new one. Anyway, so this is the important dates, and the important date for most of you will be March 1. Like I said, I am not a professional. I'm just trying to point you in the right direction and make you aware of this. So the biggest one is $25,000, and we'll look at the definition of this in a second, the homestead exemption. There's also disabled veterans and the widow's exemption, but you're going to have to look all this up yourself, and I'm going to show you where to look that up and where you need to go file for that in just a second. So that's it. March 1st is the big deadline. Now, here's the thing. You are going to have to show that you lived in Florida and you own this real property or this property real estate as of January 1. So be prepared to do that. You can't just file for this if you already have an exemption, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they are going to make you sign a document that says that you don't have an exemption in another state. Let's go ahead and take a look at, so this is property tax exemptions, and you can get this right up here. If you go up to the upper bar up here, property tax exemptions. And we're going to take a look at the first one. These just collapse and open up. And take a read on this. Every person who has legal or equitable title to real property, which is real estate, your home, in the state of Florida, and is in good faith, makes it his or her permanent home is eligible to receive homestead exemption of up to $50,000. The first $25,000 applies to the property taxes. The additional $25,000 applies to any assessed value over $50,000 and only to non-school taxes. If you take a look at that video I did before, you'll understand what they're talking about. First-time applicants are required to furnish their Social Security number and should have available evidence of ownership, i.e., your deed. You need to bring your deed or something like that. You can also call them. They're great help if you want. And I'll show you where to look for the offices here in a second. Or a contract. If a title is held in the husband's alone, husband holds it alone, the wife may file for him with his consent and vice versa. If filing for the first time, be prepared to provide the following information declaring that you were living in the dwelling, which is being claimed for homestead exemption on January 1st. So this is not something that you can apply to halfway through the year and get half credit. And as I understand it, like I said, check with your professional folks. And so you need to apply for that for this year by March 1st. And like I said, do not do this at the last second because you are going to have to show some of this information and their tax records may not be up to date. So you may have to prove that if you just moved in one of the newer homes, say down in St. Catherine or whatever, you may have to show them that this address actually exists and that you are paying taxes. Jumping back to this right here, look down at the bottom. This is the first page, and this has a couple of the offices, Bushnell, Florida, and then there's also, if you look down here to the bottom right, there's an office in Wildwood. Go ahead and give them a call. There you go. Like I said, this applies to anybody living in Florida, and you need to look that up. And also it becomes more defined as you take into account the county and city, et cetera, of what kind of exemptions. But it's definitely something worth checking into if you haven't already applied. And the biggest thing is that date, March 1st. You just can't do it halfway through the year. You either apply for it or you don't. Now, something else I didn't say is that there is something along the lines of once you apply for the homestead, right? You're living in Florida most of the year, and you need to check on that because you can't say that all of a sudden you live in Florida and you're only here for a month. It just doesn't work that way. And they will check your exemptions. You can't take exemptions in other states. There is some type of provision in there. I'm not 100% sure what it is. You need to check with your professional or the county or state that the most that they will, once you've applied for this, the most they will raise your taxes is 3%. So the most they'll go up. Otherwise, you're not protected. So that also helps you out. Anyway, that is the basis of it. Remember, March 1st. I hope this helped you out. Please go ahead and subscribe. It really helps the channel get out there. It's kind of like my pay, so to speak. And I hope you learned something from this. I hope it saved you some money, that's for sure. I can't apply till next year in my case. But anyway, that's your quick tip. I'll either see you here back on the videos or I'll see you down in the villages. Have a wonderful year. Thanks for stopping by.